Hey guys, welcome back to North End Sports. Today I want to talk to you about what the Leafs should do with their first round pick. This year they actually have one, which is nice. But in the grand scheme of things, this draft doesn't really matter. There's not a lot of big names coming out of this one. There's no McDavids or Matthews, right? There's no certified superstars coming out of this draft. There could be, but unlikely. But with that being said, the Leafs do have a first-round pick. Now, it's a late first-round pick. I believe it's 25th overall, so, it's not going to have a ton of value. They could trade it if they package it with something, but it's not going to have a ton of value because, like I said, it's a weak draft, and it's pretty late in the first round. But, I don't know what people are looking for. Maybe a team has their eye on someone specific around the 25 area that they really want for some reason, and maybe this pick has value to them, right? Value in all of sports, but in hockey specifically, the value of a player or a pick, it differs team to team. A first overall pick, if you're going to trade your first overall pick, it might be really valuable to a team that really wants a specific player going high. But it might mean, if you're going to trade first overall pick, that first overall pick might mean absolutely nothing to a cup contending team who doesn't need it, right? So it's all about who's in the need of a late first round pick. If someone happens to be in the need for a pick like that, maybe the Leafs can package it with. I've heard Kerfoot's name being thrown around. Hall, Mrazek. Mrazek and Hall, we got to get off. But we got to get those contracts off. I've heard some names about Kerfoot being traded during the offseason. I don't like that. A lot of people are saying, he's cheap and he has a lot of value. He can play anywhere. He's a good player, and he's not expensive. And that's all the more reason I think we should keep him. I really like Kerfoot. I think he's great. He can play anywhere. He brings a lot to the table. I think we should keep him, but whatever. And then the other one is Nylander. A lot of people are talking about. A lot of people think that Nylander might go, and that's a fair assessment because Marner can't be traded. He makes too much money, so only a few teams would be able to afford that. And of the teams that can't afford that, they don't have the value to bring back. Like, nobody has anything that's worth Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner is too good, and he makes too much money. So there's no team that can afford both the cap space and the value going back, right? Tavares has a no-trade clause, and he likes playing in Toronto. I don't see him waiving that. Matthews, he just won a Hart and his second Rocket. He's at certain points in the year, he's the best player in the world, but he's often the second best player in the world. There's no way Matthews is going. So that leaves Nylander and Riley as our big guys that would be traded. Riley just signed an extension here. There's no way he's being traded. He's our best defenseman. So that leaves Nylander. And I love Nylander. I would love to see him stay here, but if they were going to make a big trade for something, Nylander's really the only big guy that they can trade. They're incapable of trading anyone else. And I don't mean like Matthews, like they're incapable of trading Matthews because that would just be such a shit deal. I mean, like with Tavares and Marner, they literally can't trade them. They're not allowed to. Well, Marner, it just would be impossible. No one would be able to pull it off. Tavares, they're not allowed to. Matthews is going to be a no trade next year. And if you did trade Matthew, Dubas would 100% lose his job. But yeah, so they could package it, maybe trade it, maybe just. They don't really need to pick anyone, but if they were going to trade to get a goalie, there's a few goalies that I'd like to see them get because they need one, especially if Jack doesn't come back, which I don't think he will. They need a goalie, they need defense, and there's a few contracts they need to unload. They need to unload Mrazek's contract. They need to unload Hall's contract. They need to bring in a goalie. They might need to replace Mikheyev if Mikheyev doesn't sign. What are you going to do? You can package Nylander in a first and try to get something good or something like that, or Kerfoot in a first to try to get something interesting like that done. But let's say they use this pick and they pick someone with it. What would I like to see them pick? That's what I'm going to answer first. And then what they could pick, I guess, what Dubas is probably going to pick. What I would like to see them pick is a defenseman, a big defenseman, because for years, Dubas has been, and I don't know if it's 100% warranted, because I have looked at, the heights of some of the players, but a lot of, people say Dubas picks small European players, and that's kind of true. He doesn't like, I remember, like, for a while, the Leafs have started hitting now, but Dubas, my biggest thing against Dubas was that he didn't think physicality was part of the game, and I hated that, because it is 100% a part of the game, and having a big defenseman is also a great thing. I mean, look at who's the best stay-at-home defenseman in the game right now. Probably, well, okay, I'm not going to say it right now, because I probably don't have the knowledge to make a statement of who's the best right now, but who's generally one of the best stay-at-home defensive defensemen, not two-way, defensive defenseman probably in the game right now, I would probably say is Pietrangelo. And he's a big stay-at-home guy. I don't 100% know that he's stay-at-home. He might be two-way. It kind of bleeds in. It's really hard. I know exactly what an offensive defenseman looks like. I kind of know what a two-way looks like, because it kind of bleeds in with offensive two ways. And then defensive defenseman could also kind of bleed in with two ways. Like, it's hard to tell in hockey, because it's not set anymore. There's no set two-way defenseman and offensive defenseman and defense. It's you know what I mean? They those categories kind of bleed into each other. But Pietrangelo's amazing. Why, if the Maple Leafs had an Alex Pietrangelo, that would be perfect for this team. I would love that. So, with that being said, I have 4 players that I would be okay with the Leafs picking. And here's the thing. None of these guys would be here in the first year. We don't need any more players because our rebuild is done. We're going for cups now, right? But the only reason I want to see Dubas pick any of these 4 players is as a statement. I want Dubas to pick this and make the statement that things are changing, that he's not just going to do the same thing over again and expect different results, and that, maybe the team is getting more physical. And that would be Owen Pickering, a left-handed defenseman who is 6'4". Lian Bichelle, another left-handed defenseman who is 6'5". Both of these guys, good skaters and really tall and really big. Now, this is the one I can't remember when it was. It was months ago, though. It was probably 6 months ago. I went on a mock draft for the upcoming draft, just for fun and just to see who the Leafs would pick where they are. I think it was halfway through the season. And it landed on a guy called Maverick Lamoureux. I think that's how you say his last name. And I gave out a huge laugh because I said, there's no way Dubas is ever picking this guy, but if he did pick this guy, I would be so happy. He is a right-handed defenseman, which is something we need, and he is 6'7". Oh my God, I don't even know what I'd do if Dubas picked this guy. Probably ask Dubas to marry me. That would be amazing. Just as a statement. That is all I want from the Leafs. They don't need to actually make a pick this year. They don't need that first round pick because they're fine right now. But just having the statement of a big defenseman and then going into the year being more physical, maybe getting a bigger defenseman in free agency, it just sending that statement to the rest of the league would be brilliant. Then the other one I wanted to go with is Topics Lee. I'm pretty sure that's a typo, his first name, but Lee Linonen. There you go. A 6'5" goalie. Now I don't think he's gonna go in the first round. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's third. I think it's where he's expected to go, but I was talking to my dad earlier about this, and he was telling me about how one of the things the Leafs really need to do is develop a goalie. And he goes, look at the best goalies in the league. Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, all of these guys were picked by the teams that they're on and developed extremely well. and turned into the best goalies in the league. The Leafs never have anything like that. When's the last time we developed a goalie? We're always trading to get goalies. So I would love to see the Toronto Maple Leafs pick a goalie in the draft, develop him well, and turn him into the next Igor Shesterkin, Andrei Vasilevsky, right? I mean, seriously, when was the last time we picked a goalie and developed him and then used him in the NHL long term? Huh? Like, the last few goaltenders I remember, I mean, we had Jack Campbell, who came from LA. I'm not. He might not have even been picked by LA. We have Frederik Andersen, who did he get? He got picked by Anaheim. Huh? Okay, this is weird. Google's telling me that was he drafted by the Anaheim Ducks? Yes, he was drafted by the Anaheim Ducks, I believe. So Frederik Andersen, and then James Reimer. Who picked him? Let's see. I don't actually know. Wow, it's not even saying what his draft was. Are you kidding me? James Reimer draft. Can we find anything here? Drafted in 2006. Oh, he was drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs, was he? Okay, I'm okay with that. But yeah, 2006 was the last time I think we picked the goalie, developed him, and used him. Did we pick Wool? This is going to be a boring video. I'm just looking shit up. Joseph Wool. We picked him. We picked Wool, and we picked Anderson. Not Anderson, Reimer. So we picked Wool and we picked Reimer. But besides that, every goalie we've had, we've just traded to get, and we haven't developed anything. James Reimer was awesome, as if memory serves. Now you got to remember, I was like 12 when James Reimer was here. Like, he got picked in 2006. I was 5 in 2006, right? This is off topic. Whenever my family, whatever, tell me what era they watched the Leafs in, they're all so proud. They're like, oh, I watched it during the Wendell Clark era. I watched it during the Gilmore era. And I said, I started my life watching the Sundin era, which is something I'm so proud of. But if I'm honest with myself, the majority of when I actually started comprehending hockey was the Phil Kessel, Dion Phaneuf era. That's not a proud era. That kind of, but I'm very happy that now in my adult age, when I can actually look at hockey analytically, and not just watch it for fun, that we have Matthews, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, back on topic. I would love to see them pick a really big defenseman to make a statement, or a goalie that they could develop. Now, the problem is, this is a weak draft, as I've said, and this goalie's not even going until the third round, so it's not a first-round goaltender. We're not picking a goaltender who's capable of going in the first round in a strong draft, right? That's the kind of thing I'd like to see the Leafs do. Pick a strong draft, first round goaltender. If we can find that somewhere in the next 2 years, that would be incredible. And I would love if they developed him and made him, the next Toronto Maple Leafs starting goaltender. I would love that. Unfortunately, Dubas doesn't seem to like doing that. He likes trading for people like David Riddick and Peter Mrazek, and he likes, he got lucky with Jack Campbell, but I'm not going to get into that. So I don't know, what else they could do with it. They could try to trade it and package it. Not a lot of teams are going to want it, but they could. I mean, maybe a team will approach them and be like, hey, we need. We really want to pick, this guy's going to go 27th, but we really want him, so we're good. Just to be safe, we're going to take the 25th pick. Do you want to trade? And maybe they can work something out. Who knows? Anything can happen on draft day. Draft day is exciting. Anything can happen. So what do you guys think they should do with the first overall pick? I have no idea. It's not first overall pick, their first round pick, I mean. Let me hear your ideas. Do you think my ideas are stupid? They might be. And I'm okay with hearing that. Maybe there's a really good forward there's not a really good forward there. It's not it's not a strong draft. But maybe you think there's a really good forward that they should pick, or something that strategically will help them very soon, rather than my defenseman who won't be in the league for another 3 years and a goaltender who wouldn't be in the league for at least 5. So I don't know. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.